in between. We leave nothing untouched. We are Spoon 107.5 FM.
Okay, so prior to coming on, I was treating myself to some beautiful old school Liberian music, talking about Color Boy, Time Would Tell, and the rest of the classics from the past, the blasts from the past. And I fallen in love, again with this song Color Boy. Do it, Color Boy, do it, Color Boy, yeah. And I love the song. I love the instrumental of the song. And we need to start to look for those relevant people associated with this particular song so that we can adapt it as our theme song for this program. For some reason, it's soothing. It provided me with some calming, you know, presence that I did need. And I love to say good afternoon to every one of you listening to us across Liberia. A pleasant warm welcome to today's edition of the Pulse. It's really hot all across the country, according to BBC weather, with temperatures ranging from 30 degrees Celsius, that's the highest, to 22 degrees Celsius, that's the lowest. The general forecast says sunny intervals and a gentle breeze, but for most parts of the day, we experienced it not being so sunny. That's why they say sunny intervals and a gentle breeze. Temperature ranging from 30 degrees Celsius to 22 degrees Celsius, that's the lowest. From 3 p.m. this afternoon up to 6 p.m. this evening is expected to be sunny, and throughout the course of the night, we should expect gentle breeze and clear skies. But from 4 a.m., according to BBC weather, Wednesday morning, we should expect some rain all across the country. My name is Diamond Slanger. For those of you watching us all around the world via our various outlets, we love to say welcome to you. A pleasant day. The heat is on. We're breathing. We perspiring, right? Those of you who study science, perspiration, you're sweating all around, and our pause is open. That is why we have the pause on today. A lot happening in the country. Lost sooner. That is what people are saying. But what are the tangibles that were said by President Boycott? We've been able to bullet point everything, and we'll have an in-depth conversation about SONA 2025. A lot of other things happening in the country, talking about the capital arson. There's been a breaking development. We'll be joined by our judicial correspondent, Melvin Jackson. That's going to bring us up to speed with the latest in the Capitol arson case. It's before the court, but what has prosecutors said? Well, we'll be bringing Melvin Jackson in, and he will be bringing us up to speed. Thrown out of session, expelled, ousted, literally flung out of session. Representative Yeke Koluba of District Number 10, Montserrado County, is going to speak to us via the phone at about 10 minutes after 3 p.m. In about 5 minutes, we'll be speaking to Representative Yeke Koluba. Simemo, Yeke, what's going on? Why was he thrown out? Literally, physically thrown out of session today at the Monrovia City Hall. Representative Koluba is going to tell us his side of the story, but let's listen for those of you listening via the radio, and let's watch for those of you watching us as well. Brief excerpt from Representative Yeke Koluba.
Supreme Court ruling is very clear that Rachel Kun is not the speaker. So if they get authority, let them suspend me. Why they can't expel me? They get authority, expel me.
Honorable Koluba, are you saying
you get authority, expel me?
Look,
I will keep stating my unreadiness until the Supreme Court decision can be respected. I will keep stating my unreadiness. This is where we're supposed to talk. Until the Supreme Court.
A lot of interpretations, 6 or 9, depending on your perspective and your angle. It could either be 6 or it could be 9. The question again is 6, number 6, or number 9. Depending on your angle, where you stand, how you see things. That is what is happening with the SONA 2025. Perspective must be backed by facts. And we'll be having diverse views about the president's message. We'll be speaking to Information Minister Jeremy Pia. Somewhere in the program, we'll place a call to the Information Minister. He'll give the government's perspective on the president's State of the Nation address. We'll also be speaking to former Assistant Minister for Development Planning during the WIA-led administration, Benedict Koluba, will join us via the phone as well after we've spoken to Liberia's Information Minister, Honorable Jeremy Pia. What did the president say about education? We have the bullet points and everything, but what's the State of the Nation address? Lost. Well, folks, this is the pause. Our main guest at about 1/2 is Prophet Key. Yeah, you heard me right. Prophet Key is our guest at 4:30. Prophet Key is going to be speaking to us on an array of issues. Does he harbor senatorial ambition? Does he want to replace the late Senator Prince Yomi Johnson? How an imbalance, responding to his quest, that is, if he's got an ambition to run for the senatorial post. His newfound friendship, is he friends with former President Weah? We saw them shake hands, at the funeral service there of the late Nimba County Senator. Has there been a mending of the relationship? These plus many more questions will be asked Prophet Key once he appears as our main guest at 4:30. Well, that's the menu for the pause, and not with saying much more, let's now connect with Representative Yeke Koluba of District Number 10, Montserrado County. Why was he manhandled? Why was he, flung out of session? Why was he expelled from today's session? We have online Representative Yeke Koluba. Good afternoon to you, sir. How are you?
Good afternoon.
Thank you so much for affording us your time. Representative Koluba, why were you thrown out of session today?
Because we have refused to respect and uphold our rules. We need to be very clear with the way we proceed as lawmakers. Because if we can respect the law, how will the common citizen respect the law? Our rules are very clear. The rule says, if I have done anything wrong, the presiding should say, Honorable Sir, please escort the lawmaker. They didn't say throw the lawmaker aside. But we found a situation right now. We found a situation right now to look very bad. People are just disrespecting all the laws. What are we heading to? When session was called to order, it was announced, and I said I was unready, and I was speaking to the movement. I said, Mr. Movement, I'll be ready to vote if we can respect the ruling of the Supreme Court. The ruling of the Supreme Court is very clear. That's the reason why the justices did not enter or did not go to
Honorable, we lost you for a minute.
So am I okay now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. The reason why the poll from the Supreme Court didn't go over there is because what the person I was presiding is illegal. Because the Supreme Court rule. The Supreme Court rule in the minority favor. You understand what I'm saying? So I tried to raise my own readiness. I saw Jim Colette, you know, the game starting the always on, the threatening the judges in session, talking about how they will impeach the judge. Or you can talk about impeach or certain judge. But I'm exercising my right. The reason why those judges did not send for you is because you have been protected under the Constitution. Now anything you say or do in there, nobody can caution you for it. I am doing what I'm supposed to do in there by stating my own readiness. You know, the judge I did like Jungle Johnson way and told the people they should put me out. You saw the people how I was assaulted. When you see the video, you will see James Colette assaulting me. I'll be speaking to the press. I'll be speaking to the press at 4 o'clock.
You just mentioned that you were assaulted. Did you sustain any injuries, Representative Koluba?
Well, I'll be at my press conference at 4 o'clock. You know, I needed to respect this phone because we all made this phone and we are all brothers. When you told me you were going to give me a call, now I decided to pick your call. But I will advise and beg you to please wait on the 4 o'clock. I'll be speaking to the press.
All right, thank you, Representative Koluba.
Thank you so much. You're most welcome.
Representative Yeke Koluba speaking to his expulsion from session today. You know, according to him, he stated his unreadiness not to vote for the motion for session to, you know, be commenced and all of that. But let's speak to Haji Masaleh. Haji Masaleh covers the House of Representatives for the Spoon Network. He was in session today at the Monrovia City Hall. You know, when all of this unfolded, we will be playing you the video clip as well of the removal of Representative Yeke Koluba. Let's see if we have Haji Masaleh on the line to tell us the latest that unfolded today, including that that happened to Representative Koluba. Good afternoon to you, Haji. How are you?
Yeah, good afternoon, Damo. I'm okay.
You're welcome on the pause again.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's a pleasure and a privilege for me to be with you.
Why was Representative Koluba ousted from session today, and how was he taken out of session today?
Yeah, so Representative Koluba somebody made a motion. He had an amendment to that motion to make. But usually there is a format of presentation at the House of Representatives or at the Senate, and this format is being used whenever a lawmaker want to address situation, or a witness that is on the stand want to address a particular situation. One has to do with you addressing the presiding officer, the co-presiding officer, if there's any, then the fellow members of the House of Representatives. If you are the lawmaker, you say fellow colleagues, and if you are a witness, you say members of the House of Representatives in that order. But he failed to do that, and on numerous occasions, the colleagues call him to order, and he then refused to address the presiding, the co-presiding, and the colleague. Just wanted to go about talking across the floor.
Who was the presiding today?
The speaker, Richard Nangwekun.
Okay.
The presiding deputy speaker, Thomas Fala.
So Representative Koluba failed to have acknowledged the presence of a speaker and a deputy as in presiding and co-presiding officer.
Sure. But instead, he wanted to bypass the whole formality and just address the deputy speaker and his police and move on. They call him to order on several different occasions. He failed to go by the format of presentation. So the police had no other alternative but to ask him out. So he kind of put up a little constant response or retaliation or what.
Are you saying Representative Koluba refused being excused or leaving the hall where session was being conveyed?
Certainly he refused, and the lawmakers too had no option but to call the doorman, that is a sergeant at arms and other security for the House of Representatives to escort him out.
How did they escort him out? How was he escorted out?
Usually there are channels to be used. You have to use all the necessary channels by asking him to walk out, by asking him to lead the walk to leave the session. So there are many channels. So if all those channels fail, they have to virtually force him out.
So was he forcibly removed from the?
He was forcibly removed because he could not walk by himself. Because he was adamant to remain in session and holding onto the microphone until
describe how he was removed, Haji. Handled by multiple persons and pushed out, or how was he removed forcibly? I spare your own witness.
So I saw several men or sergeant arms moving with him. When he wanted to stand, and people I know are shoving him like that, and some of the police were around him and say, "Why you do just go outside a bit and later you can still come back." But since he left, he chose not to come back.
Is this a regular thing? Does this happen? I don't want to use the word regular, but how often has this happened where a lawmaker will be handled by sergeant at arms and removed from the hall, since you've been covering, or I spare your knowledge as well?
So this is part of the rules that call for perfect decorum. So by dodging,
did you say decorum?
Perfect decorum.
Reminds me of the former speaker Buffer Chambers.
Yeah,
but anyway, go ahead.
So their web Buffer usually call on Representative Koluba to be decorous.
Mm-hmm.
That means he should behave like a gentleman. So if he doesn't behave like a honorable man in session, then the rules can be applied for he to be escorted out. The rules say escorted out. He's needed to be escorted out. But in the event when he said he's not going, even though they asked him to walk out, he said he's not doing it. So the two men were on an obligation to virtually shove him to leave the session, because you're causing distraction for your others honorable colleagues.
All right, Haji, before we go, was there any other further conversation surrounding Representative Koluba's behavior today? Have they threatened to expel him using their rules? Or what was said after he was ousted from the room?
So this is if I can record, second or third time him being thrown out since the members of the House of Representatives came to Monrovia City Hall, to perform their legislative function. But in the chamber at the House of Representatives, it was almost abnormal for Representative Koluba to be thrown out, because the way he presents, his argument on the floor. And in the legislature, there is a pattern of speaking on the floor. If you don't go by these patterns, you are out order. So they will call you to order. If you cannot be called to order, then the police will ask you out. So
okay, Haji.
So during the time of Speaker Chimba, he was thrown up on several occasions, countless times. Fanatic Kofa sometimes he carry on this normal comportment or whatsoever, and you'll be asked to leave peacefully.
How many representatives were in session today, Haji?
So they will update a head count of the lawmakers in session today. They were 40, and some were some came in later. So
okay,
you can sum up the number to 43 or 45.
Okay, but as of when roll call was taken and when you did your head count, there were 40 in session.
There were 40.
But according to their official record, how many?
38.
38. All right, Haji Masale. Thank you so much.
Okay, so on the sideline of that, Damon, can you?
Yeah, go ahead. 1 minute. On the,
on the sideline of that, the GSM, regulatory body, appeared today before plenary. So Lone Star Cell, Orange, LTA, LTC, then the Ministry of Post and Telecommunication, they all appear to find a way and discuss around the continuum, network issue across the country. So the House form a specialized committee or a special committee to go into further discussion. That the discussion here today lasted for more than 1 hour, but they could not find a concrete common ground surrounding that. So the speaker formulated a specialized committee to go in depth and discuss some of the problems the GSM companies are facing, and while networks are not in all parts of the country, even in some of the capital, even in Boruto, while some places there is no network, or network is there, but sometimes network will just go off. So there is a bucket of issues surrounding the GSM companies.
Okay, Haji will be following up on that because connectivity is very pivotal to all of what we do. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Haji Masale covers the House of Representatives for the Spoon Network, bringing us up to speed with the latest involving Representative Yahya Koluba. But after all of that, after all of what was said and done, Representative Koluba took a walk to regroup. Okay, there you have it. It's very short. And going to regroup, as the representative did say, at 4 p.m. he will be addressing a press conference, and we'll do our best to follow up on that as well. This is the pulse here on the Spoon Network. We'll bring you all of what is unfolding across Liberia. This is where the heartbeat of the nation is heard. My name is Diamond Slanger. You're welcome. If you're just joining us, we're about to cross to speak to our judicial correspondent, Melvin Jackson. But we are getting more information. We're getting rates of arrest and arrest. But Melvin is going to speak to this as well. So this, I'm seeing 2 different rates of arrest here. But I want to be sure of what it is. Okay, all right. So this is a totally different issue. But let's connect with Melvin Jackson to bring us up to speed with the latest there in the capital arson case at the Temple of Justice. We've gotten fresh information that the prosecution has prayed for something. What is it that they've prayed for? Melvin Jackson is going to bring us up to speed live from the grounds of the Temple of Justice. Good afternoon to you, Melvin. How are you doing?
I'm okay, Damon, and good afternoon to our many listeners.
Okay. How's the grounds of the Temple of Justice in terms of unfoldings there? What's the latest news involving the capital arson case?
Yes, Damon, the grounds is quite interesting today, as we have several other stuff unfolding. But with regards to the arson case of the alleged burning of the Capitol building, today the state brought in their third witness to testify in their favor. But when the third witness came in, Ward Johnson, he informed the court that he has several evidence in his possession, which were presented to the court. But when that was presented, the defense team objected to it, and that was sustained by the judge. So the objection was on the basis that what the witness had brought is the photocopy of WhatsApp messages believed or alleged to have been extracted from the cell phone of defendant Eric Entries. So it was on that basis the judge sustained the motion or the objection that was made by the defense team. It was also in that same vein that the prosecution team pray for another continuance. So now you will know that since the case began, there have been several the continuance pray for by the prosecution team before the court, which some members of the prosecution or let's say the defense team who I spoke with this morning are becoming to be dissatisfied with the idea of the many continuous being prayed for by the prosecution team.
What was the reason for the prosecution, that is the state, praying for a continuance today? On what grounds?
So the defense team said you cannot bring forth WhatsApp messages that you believe were.
Okay, so we've lost Melvin there. Let's see if we can reconnect with Melvin Jackson on the phone to give us the latest there in the capital arson case. But what we've been informed about is that the state has prayed for yet again another continuance. As to why, that's what he's going to tell us. Yes, Melvin, you were in the middle of your conversation as to why the state prayed for another continuance.
Yes, Damo. So the defense team, when they objected, they said you cannot, as a prosecution, you have every evidence and in your possession that you can bring forth to the court. So you cannot come before the court and bring flying sheets containing messages that you claim you extracted from the cell phone of co-defendant Thomas. So if this can come from the phone, then where is the phone? So the way that contention was based, and they demanded that the phone be brought to the court, so at least everyone can see these very messages, WhatsApp messages that are as claimed or alleged by the prosecution team, before the court, instead of printing out a portion. And this portion you print out is also in photocopy. So the defense team, they were strong on that and said they pray the court that the form should be brought before the court, and also everyone can see, go through it and see the different WhatsApp messages that they claim that the defendants have with other co-defendants and others that alleged.
So if I can break this down in my simple layman understanding of what unfolded. The prosecution, which is the state, that has got all of the resources to take a case to trial and win tightly by producing very, very, very good evidence, adducing evidence beyond reproach, right? The prosecution is saying that they brought a photocopy of what is supposed to be WhatsApp communication between a witness, now a prosecution witness, and one of the defendants, but did not bring the phone, and it was a photocopy. And because of that, the defense objected. They raised, an objection, and that was sustained by the judge. And the prosecution, the state, prayed for a continuance to go and bring the actual phone to show those messages. Is that what unfolded?
Exactly.
And then when is the trial set to continue?
So the trial is set for tomorrow, but we are still looking to see whether or not there won't be another continuous pray for, because this is not the first. Since the case began, this could be the third or fourth continuous pray for by the prosecution in this case. To the starting of the case, when they brought the main crime investigator, Raphael Wilson, he did not bring the cell phone, neither the cash, they said was used, nor the magic. So between you and I, Damo, the prosecution has not brought before this court a tangible evidence that the defense team can see, because you and I know the burden of proof it rests on their shoulder as prosecutions. Like you said, they are all of the resources. So they did our arrest and they did our investigations and whatsoever. So this is where the defense team is very reneged on that back, that they should bring all of the different instrument information in the read all the charge sheet that were used by these defendants, so as to prove this case. If not, they won't allow this case to go further, because it's like the defense team cannot allegedly cannot, the prosecution allegedly cannot fight this case with that tangible that is needed to proceed with the matter.
All right, we're following up on that particular case. Just 1 minute quickly, Melvin. In the original Japan drug trial, final arguments were heard today. Just wrap it up with for us by giving us a summary of what those final arguments were by the prosecution and the defense.
Yeah, so I was just in the court, Damo, when you called me, so I had to come outside. So the argument was concluded with, and then the judge is currently giving his ruling, because in this case, it is not a jury trial.
It's a bench trial.
Bench trial, where in the judge serve as the judge and the jury de facto. So right now, the judge is ruling, and any moment from now, he will, be concluded with, because he started some, minutes
Okay,
ago.
just go back in there because that's a major case. We did see the former director of the LDA questioned in that particular case, subpoenaed to testify in that particular case. So we want to leave you there as you go and tell us what the verdict will be by the judge presiding.
Thank you.
Melvin Jack, our judicial correspondent, bringing us up to speed of the latest there involving the capital arson case. Well, the state has prayed for another continuance, which is allowed on our jurisprudence, but it's beginning to raise eyebrows, as well as in the corridors, some legal luminaries as well raising eyebrows on as to how many continuances the state is going to ask for, and what's the level of tangibility of the state's evidence as well. Remember, this is a criminal case and must be prosecuted beyond all reasonable doubt, and evidence and pieces of evidence brought before any court or any judge must be very, very solid. You must not rely on circumstantial evidence. You must rely on very solid evidence. So we'll be following up on that case as well. Remember, as we listen to the latest development and hear those concerned, all you can do is win 4,000 Liberian dollars for yourself this afternoon, just like that. All you need to do is to play the radio game. Just dial star 799 star 3 hash, star 799 star 3 hash. With your US dollar wallet, you play with 70 cents. With your Liberian dollars wallet, you play with just 100 Liberian dollars, and you stand a chance of winning 4,000 Liberian dollars right now. So the more you play, the better your chances of winning. Please play the radio game and put something in your pocket this terrific Tuesday. Dial star 799 star 3 hash, star 799 star 3 hash. The more you play, the better your chances of winning. So the more you play, the better your chances of winning. We'll be playing host to Liberia's Information Minister, Honorable Jeremy Matthew Pia, at 4 p.m. But before that, we'll have to speak to others surrounding the President's State of the Nation address. What is your perspective? And we'll be speaking to folks from within the opposition, in position and no position as well. What were those key points stated by President Joseph Boakai? Was it a lost sooner? The absence, I should say, of the judges of the Supreme Court of Liberia, did it put a dent on the SONA message? There are those who are arguing that, look, Article 58 says the president shall present his legislative agenda to the legislature and not to the judiciary. But in the spirit of coordination, three separate branches of government, but the work coordinated, should, if the judiciary wasn't needed at that particular program, why were they sent an invitation as well? And during the president's speech, he always mentioned Mr. Vice President, Mr. Speaker, Chief Justice, referencing the fact that the executive had anticipated when that speech was delivered and by protocol that the judiciary would have been in attendance. Well, politics has been played on all angles. There are those who have said, well, the judiciary not being present, it doesn't matter. It doesn't take away from the message. The president delivered his message and fulfilled Article 58. True. There are those who have said, look, the Supreme Court did not want to intervene. They don't want to be a party to that. They do have, a case before them from the Kofa Black involving the HOR leadership impasse, and that the lower court had already ruled that they lacked the jurisdiction. The civil law court ruled that it lacked the jurisdiction when the Kofa Camp filed for a bill of declaratory judgment, a bill of information, and the court ruled that, look, we don't have the jurisdiction over this matter. It should go back to the Supreme Court and then announce an appeal. Whether or not that appeal has been announced symbolizes that their case will be given to the Supreme Court, and they too decided to stay away. We cannot interpret all of this. We're trying our best to speak to the guys there at the Supreme Court of Liberia in the Public Affairs Department to bring us up to speed with why were the justices absent, from the president, so that we know that the Chief Justice is in Egypt. attending the conference. But for the other associate justices, we need answers. But with all of that, what was actually said by President Joseph Boakai? Let's see if we can connect with Mr. Emmanuel Gonkwe, the CIC of the Economic Freedom Fighters of Liberia, to tell us his perspective, his take on the President's State of the Nation address. We'll also be reading out key points stated by President Joseph Boakai, and we'll talk to former Assistant Minister at the Ministry of Finance in the Weah-led regime to give us his own take on the President's economic utterances. All right, let's see if we can get Mr. Emmanuel Gonkwe of EFFL on the line to tell us his take. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Gonkwe.
Good afternoon, Daman, and good afternoon to your listener.
Thank you, sir. As a stakeholder in this country and as part of the alliance, I don't know if you're still part, but you were part of the alliance that brought the United Party to power. Listening to President Boakai's second State of the Nation address, what's your take? Lost sooner or a sooner of substance?
Well, it's a slogan of the future. And I think the slogan was all about the future of the country and his idea about moving the country forward. So basically, that's what I can say. But as a political organization, we will detail that will respond, to the slogan. But I can say to you that much that this slogan was a slogan of the future.
What kind of future? A bright future looking forward, or a bleak looking future?
Well, when I say the future is going bright. You heard him talk about, his desire for road constructions, his desire for improving the economy, his desire for enhancing rule of law. So that's what I qualify the slogan as the slogan of the future. Even though there were issues in his first administration, but the way in which the slogan was structured, it was structured in a way that it provides hope for the future. We are looking forward to this second year because this year is not a year of excuse. And that's what I continue to say. The slogan was the slogan of the future because he has now presented a clear future to us, the Liberian people, to members of the alliance, to our international partners. So we have to now be very clear, that the future he's presented, in anticipation of our future, we now need to see steps, that the government would take to ensure the future that he presented.
What about the present? I know you said it shows a bright future based on all of what was said once implemented to its fullest. But what about the present? There are many Liberians who are saying the SONA is far disconnected from the reality on the ground. I know you've said the EFFL as an institution will issue a statement, but what about the noun, Mr. Gonkwe? Did it connect? Did it hit with Liberians?
So I just told you, I said the first year we acknowledge, missteps in the first year. There were issues that we should have done that we did not. But also you have to be realistic to understand that the president took over a broken country. I mean, the fabric of our nation was broken. The international image of the country was broken. Governance were being, derailed at the lowest level ever in the history. We had a government that went to cabinet meeting 5 times in the entire 6 years. So there were a lot, to build on. There were, instances where we need a complete institutional reform. So these issues, overwhelmed the government performance in the first year, trying to pull the broken pieces together. It overwhelmed the government performance in the first year. This year is a year that Liberians, including all political parties, civil society organizations, religious leaders, this is a year that everybody will have a fair opportunity to assess the president's performance.
All right. So you're saying he took over a defective, scorecard that he has tried to restore. Now, the president mentioned some of his gains, international relations, having diplomatic relations with 6 new countries, the restoring of the respect of the Liberian passport. He talked about his one child, one chair policy when it comes to education, renovating the UL and all of those things. But there are concerns, as you said. What are those concerns in the speech? Just give me 1 or 2. I know the EFFL's own response will come?
Well, like I said, we will come up with our response. We
Mr. Gonkwe, I got that, but there are those who want to listen to you now on the spot. What are those challenges? What are those points made by the president that you were like, it doesn't connect?
Yeah, well, so for example, I would say you're just trying to pull my legs, and I will not fall for it.
I cannot pull an elephant's leg, a tiny me.
You try to pull my leg, I will not fall for it. So, I think most of the things that we did not do well, like I continue to say, we're going to point that out. It will be clearly written in our statement.
Give us two. I know the statement is already prepared.
I have to allow the Secretary General.
It's just a tiny insight, Mr. Gonkwe. Okay, one. We've gone from 2 to 1.
Everybody else working to release a statement. I cannot preempt. I cannot issue a preemptive strike on a statement. I have to allow them to do what they ought to do. But I'm saying to you, dear word, the fact, Diamond, you're a journalist, you're educated, very eloquent, one of the best, journalists in the country.
Don't make me feel mushy here. You're trying to use your political rhetorics to get around me. We just won 1 or 2, Mr. Gonkwe. We're not saying you are the whole statement.
So I'm saying to you, there were issues. So I said, we acknowledge as a government, I'm not excluding myself because I'm a member of the alliance. So I'm not excluding myself. So I said, we acknowledge, the excesses of the first year, but you, the journalists, you, the civil society, you, the independent minds as well, you have to understand that the president took over a broken country. The fabric of the nation was destroyed. A government in power that held cabinet meeting 5 times for 6 years.
Mr. Gonkwe, can I come in there with all of these defects? With all of these defects, you and your alliance, with all of these defects, you and your alliance told the Liberian people you were up for the tax. It's been 1 year. This is the 2nd year. Are you still going to make excuses, or the time for excuses over and time for governance?
No, there's no need for the excuses. So I just said to you that this year, all of us, including me, the Economic Freedom Fighters of Liberia, we have said clearly, this year is not a year of excuse. This year is a year of performance. If the president wants to maintain, his lines, want to maintain all the critical voices around him, then he will have to step up to his game to perform this year. So this year is not a year for us to blame the George Weah administration. It's not a year for any minister to blame George Weah. It's a year for every minister, every director, every managing director to be in the war room to look at the situation and see how they can repair and fix and move forward. We have seen the different lapses in the first year. We have seen the broken institutional framework that existed in the first year. It is now time for us to repair. So when you are a good engineer, you enter the building, you see the building crack, you first tell it, how the building foundation was built, and you have seen all of that. Now what you're talking about is to patch these different cracks so that the building looks decent.
Then somebody will counter that argument and tell you that every opposition is a government in waiting. And you should have done your assessment prior when you made all those promises, when you said you were capable of, you never had a clear understanding.
Diamond, you do not clean the house by standing outside of the house. You clean the house when you are in, because when you are outside of the house, you don't see every corner of the house. You don't see what the filthiness is. You don't see what the deck that powder, what the holes are. You don't see them. When you enter, you see. So the alliance enter. The alliance have seen the mistake. The alliance have seen the loophole. The alliance have seen the license, the broken pieces. Where we are now, I'm assuring Liberians that this year, even the EFFL will be even more robust and vocal, because this is not a year of promises. This is not a year of campaign. This is a year of practical governance. Okay. We must be on the table with practical governance. We must lead and lead by example.
Thank
we
you,
must
Mr.
give hope. We must restore hope, and that's what we are going to do. So I'm saying that's what the president's slogan is, a slogan of hope.
So as the theme stated, rescue to development. So the first year was all of the rescue efforts, and now we move into development.
Now we are moving into the future, and I can assure Liberians, if anything go wrong, you can trust the EFL. We are not coward. We say it as we see it. If anything go wrong in the second administration, we are going to see it as
but
we
you're
will,
not saying
we
the
will
thing that
say
you're
it.
supposed to say to all night, so we should wait for a press conference. Either or we wait for the press conference. All right, Mr. Emmanuel Gonkwe. Thank you so much.
You're not going to get that for me.
President
You're not
of
get
the
that for me.
Economic
Thank
Freedom Fighters of Liberia, the EFFL. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation as well. All right, so we will be connecting with former Assistant Minister at the Ministry of Finance, former Assistant Minister for Development Planning, Honorable Benedict Koluba. Will be discussing some of the economic, statements made by President Joseph Yuma Boakai. Just key amongst those, we have all of the points here, but let's see if we can connect with Mr. Benedict Koluba. And then he is going to discuss with us briefly before we then connect with Liberia's Information Minister, Honorable Jeremy McMatthew Pia, to tell us Losona, or as hopeful as Sona, as stated by Mr. Emmanuel Gonkwe. But all you need to do is to win 4,000 Liberian dollars for yourself right here on the pause. I'm in the mood. Yes, I'm in the mood to give you 4,000 Liberian dollars. All you need to do is to dial *799 *3 hash. The code again, *799 *3 hash. Simple. Using your Lone Star Cell mobile money phone, all you need to do is to dial *799 *3 hash and then select your Liberian dollars wallet. Use 100 Liberian dollars to play, or your USD wallet and use 70 cents to play. You stand a chance of winning. You stand a chance of winning 4,000 Liberian dollars. So you need to get playing. You need to get playing at 4:30. We will be playing host to Prophet Key. Prophet Key joins us at 4:30 here on the show. But let's join now the former Assistant Minister to tell us. We'll read some of President Boakai's statement on the economy. And since he was in that position as Assistant Minister for Development Planning, he gave us his expert knowledge on things said by His Excellency President Joseph Yuma Boakai. This is the pause on the Spoon Network. Let me get my notes. Yes, I'm already prepared. And we go to economic key highlights. Yes, let's go to the economy, agriculture, and this is the economy. So President Boakai made several points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, up to 28 key points President Boakai did make concerning the economy. All right. So let's join Mr. Benedict Koluba. He's going to be our guest for at least 20 minutes before we take the Information Minister and then Prophet Key. Good afternoon to you, former Assistant Minister. How are you, sir? Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, I lost you for a minute. We don't have problems, network issue, but good to have you, and thank you for honoring our invitation.
Thank you. Can we get readjust? Maybe you readjust. Just call me in 1 second. Let me see what's happening.
All right, I'll do that. I'll call you in a sec. Once you're ready, just send me the okay. I'll call you. Okay.
No, don't do that. I'm cutting all you call me back.
All right. So let me rejoin Benedict Koluba. These things happen, network issues, but we'll talk to him and hear what he's got to say. We'll read some of those things stated by President Boakai concerning the economy. Are we good now?
Yeah, I think so. We are.
All right. So thank you again. I appreciate the fact that you've taken up your time to be here. You listened to the Sona yesterday. On the overall, what's your assessment in terms of grading the president on a scale of 1 to 10, sir?
Well, firstly, I wasn't listening to you. I don't know what has been discussed or what the introduction was. So I introduce myself to the public so that they can know who is speaking.
Yeah, go ahead. I did introduction, but you can do that again if you don't mind. No problem.
Okay. Do I need to be live? Because only was. Do I need to be live? Like.
No, you don't. Once you can hear me, we're having the conversation. It's in real time. If you want to watch yourself, then you can watch Spoon TV. But everything you're saying is live on the radio, and we're having a real-time conversation.
Okay, thank you. So my name is Benedict Koluba. I'm a former Assistant Minister for Development Planning and the National Coordinator for the Purple Agenda. I'm a development expert and a policy expert who look beyond the numbers and and go to the implication on the well-being and the livelihood of people. So, yes, opportunity for me to share my thoughts and opinion about our country.
Okay, so I'm sure you have some of the points as well, if not all of the points. You've also gone through your own analysis of the president's SONA, especially pertaining to the economy, as stated yesterday. There are several points, but President Boyka said in 2024 the economy demonstrated resilience and steady growth with a revised real GDP growth at rate 5.1. That again was backed by fact checkers who said the economy, yes, is projected and it's got a 5.1 increment in GDP base in the mineral and extractive industry sector. But what's your take on the president's overall, report on the economy of the country yesterday?
Well, firstly, before I address the economy, I'd like to talk about the speech in its generality. Let me pick you back a little. You remember the mind-blowing phraseology or caption of rescue that even this network used in 2023 that drove the Liberian people or deceived a lot of Liberian people, both professionals and workers, towards the Unity Party with the hope that those issues they were talking about, those deceptions that the Liberian people were under bondage, they were going to be rescued. So it's almost like when you are in slavery and somebody is coming to show you that they're coming to relieve you from slavery. And so the Liberian people bought those deceptions under that phraseology or that caption of rescue. 1 year down the line, the president goes to the podium without giving the rescue package to the people. So generally, the rescue or the rescuers are now being arrested by their own agenda because the president said he's rescuing for development. That was the title of his speech. So just from the title of his speech will tell you that the president and the Unity Party are still in the campaign mode. They're not yet prepared to deliver that rescue package that they promised the Liberian people. On the basis of that, moving to the economy, and I said that this morning on OKFM, and then one of the guys labeled me as, how they call it, village economist. Look, this growth that the Unity Party or those who wrote the speech didn't do well for the president or for our country. They tell us what did they do for this growth. And the growth they're talking about, the growth is in the industry. This is an economic model of the 1950s and 1960s. That the measurement of development in the country is based on capital accumulation and extraction. When the economy grows like that, you're going to have growth within the economy, but that growth takes a long time and it doesn't benefit the common people. And so we development experts and practitioners are not necessarily moved by growth. We are concerned about where the growth is coming from and who is benefiting from the growth. And so that is why I call it today a Don Papara state of the economy. A Don Papara state coined by me means that there is growth taking place without any tangible policy measure from the state architecture. It is just as identical as a result of the curiosity of the people to improve their livelihood. But in the end, the government decides to take credit for what is happening because the government is the chief agent for development in the country.
So if I got you right, because we'll be having this conversation, I'll be coming in as you lay your analysis. You said yes, there is growth, but it is not growth that is going to be realized in the soonest, or it's not growth that is going to affect the people's livelihood because it's coming from the extractive industry. Is that what I heard you say?
Because this growth is predominantly in the extractive industry. It will empower few group of people, and it does not have any concern about inequalities. It has nothing to do with domestic production. It has nothing to do with value addition, and it is not in a sector where you find the poor people. It is from sectors where you sell iron ore and you get your royalty, you get the proceeds from there. Then the economy is growing. You sell the gold and diamond, the economy is growing. But the gold and diamond, the iron ore value is not being added onto. And those who are selling the goods of the iron ore and the diamond, they are not the typical traditional Liberians, the poor people in the villages. They don't benefit from it because when they collect those royalties from there, what are they doing with them? They are paying for private jets for the president to travel for international travel. They are paying for private jets for the president to go to his village and speak to his people. So the dividend that comes from the extractive industry is not being cascaded to the what we call the real economy.
Mr. Koluba, so, yes, as a former Minister of Development Planning, are you saying on this public platform that yes, 5.1% growth in the GDP is true, but you are disputing where the money is going to be used and how is it going to be used? So now, are you also saying publicly that the proceeds or the royalties only goes to self-aggrandizement of the president and his executive members, or it's not going into other sectors like education and the rest? If so, how are these sectors being financed, sir?
Okay, so get me very well. I'm saying to you, why it is true that growth is being reported, it doesn't matter much as compared to where the growth is coming from.
Okay.
If this growth is coming from the sectors where you find majority of the poor people, it means this growth is going to be sustainable. It's going to address what we call the well-being of the people. For example, there are a lot of cocoa being produced in our country right now. There are a lot of vegetables being grown in our country right now. If those villages in Lofa County, for example, in Nimba County, for example, if there was value added to the cocoa in this country, it's going to affect the life of the poor people because they got their farms. The poor people don't have iron ore. They don't have. They're not able to mine the diamond that is being mined in King George. So yes, I'm saying to you, the economy may grow. It will even grow to 7% or 10%. Once that growth is not in the sector where you find the poor people, it will not address the livelihood issue.
Okay, another point by the president. Point number 2 on the economy. I'm just looking at the bullet points that I have here. The president said if managed the inflation prudently, reducing it to 7.7% by the end of 2024, down from a 10.1% in 2023. And that sound fiscal and monetary policies, they expect inflation to decrease by 6.0 in 2025. What's your take on that? What was the inflation rate when you were serving as former Assistant Minister for Development Planning?
So that I don't want to go to that right now, but what I want you to do for me, this is one of the contradictory points. If you go to the 2025 budget, within the budget, it is very clear within the budget that the budget is a law, that the Liberian dollars is depreciating against the United States dollars. And it goes to state that that depreciation will continue up to 2029 to the extent that there will be 2 $211 Liberian to $1 US. So this to me is a contradiction because the budget is a law and the budget is prepared by economists, sound people. They are saying to us that inflation will grow up, the Liberian dollar will depreciate, but then politicians are writing, telling the president that the Liberian dollars will appreciate. This is a contradiction. So I don't believe what is written in the president's annual message that the Liberian dollar is appreciating. I believe what is written in the national budget, in the first in the preface of the budget that says the budget, the Liberian dollar will depreciate. I can find that in the budget and just read it for you if you have the time.
Yeah, we just touching here and there, especially when it comes to the president's message on the economy.
So actually, it's a deception in the annual address that the Liberian dollar will appreciate because the budget are appreciated, and you can see what is happening. The U.S. rate is going up every day. So it's a contradiction, and those who did that, they did disservice to the president.
So what about the establishment of the special economic zone? You know, special economic zones. You are an economist. You've got your emphasis in development planning. You do know the importance of having special economic zones and the tax waivers and benefits that comes along with having a special economic zone or zones scattered across the country. You talk about growth as well. Having this and having special economic zones implemented and encouraging investors to go into places like Nimba, Basa, Lofa and other places and give them incentives. Is that going to drive the growth that you want to see in value added and the rest?
Is that the model of the zone that you encourage investors to go over and invest?
I'm just speaking from my generalization of what I understand as what special economic zones are.
I worked on a growth corridor study in 2011 under the then Ministry of Planning and Economic Affairs as a senior sector analyst. Our original concept and ideology about the economic zone was to have put the economic zone, for example, in Kanta and in Buchanan. The whole logic is to drive investors cluster or what we call opportunities in one region, and so that investment can take place there. And we established that under President, where the economic zone was established. So I don't know how they intend to operationalize that economic zone.
But let's talk about the benefits of special economic zones. You just said
it depends. No, it depends on how you strategize around it. So category, the way we thought we envision it, have we done it that way? Yes, they are going to be beneficial to the Liberian people. As it is, I don't know how have they refashioned it. I don't know. The president didn't tell us how this economy is going to operate.
But let me rephrase the question. Let me rephrase the question to you just for a minute, and then you can answer and elaborate. Having special economic zones, is it beneficiary to the economy?
Well, like I said, within the context of the PAPD, yes, it should have been very beneficial.
Sir, let's take away the politics and let's talk about the economy as you are a professional. Having special economic zones, whether implemented by the PAPD or the IRS agenda, is it beneficiary to a country like Liberia, where investors, find it difficult and have some kind of, second thought and all of that? Having these zones with all of the incentives, is it beneficial to a country like ours?
So let me put it this way. I don't take economic zone as a vacuum. There are factors that influence economic zone.
Granted.
So that's why I say within our strategy.
Sir, you're still going back to the politics. I just want you to generalize with all factors constant. With all factors constant as an economist. Is it good?
I'm a development expert. If you have an economic zone that is adding value to local product in that economic zone, yes, it's profitable. It's beneficiary to the economy. If you have economic zone that is a friendly for extracted industry or pass-through of raw material, it's not going to benefit the people. So that's why I said to you, the economic zone we envisioned was to have a place. Let me put it in the context of the like the labor as the village economies. If you have a place where you build You move electricity, you got factories, you got processing material, and say, you know what? Anybody that comes in here to add value to cassava, for example, and producing super gari to export it, you're not going to pay export fees. So you produce it, you export it and sell. So who's going to benefit? The carbon people are going to benefit because they grow cassava. So yes, I cannot dispute the benefit of economism. But like I said, in the specific context of this government, I don't know the strategy they're going to use for the economism.
Okay, all right. So let's go to the reserve quickly. I know you we have to run. I just wanted you to give a general overview of concerning the president's annual message with emphasis on the economy. On the reserve, the president spoke about the reserve of the country has improved to 458.9 million United States dollars. And the Liberian dollar, okay, we'll talk about the appreciation. So the reserve as well. What does this mean for our country? With the president talking about an improvement in our reserve, as a development expert, tell us one or two about that, and our economists as well.
So, first thing, the president should have told us what was the reserve position when he took over. Because when you're talking about reserve, what is contributing to the growth of that reserve? So I cannot just say yes or no. I need to know, is it because of borrowing from the IMF program that the IMF is supporting us and then our reserve position is growing? Or because of our interaction, or because do we have gold, for example, we're mining gold, and then we have a gold reserve, which will contribute to macroeconomic stability. So reserve is just saying to you, you got something in the event where the whole world collapse or nothing coming in, you can be eating it until sometimes comes. So to be eating something for 4 months until it comes to you, that's what it's saying. So how many months do we have reserve for? And how many months do we have it for right now? So when we're talking, one of the things I like to talk about when we're talking these economic issues, if you tell the Liberian people inflation have dropped, reserve is like this, what is happening to their livelihood? What is happening to the exchange rate on the market? This is a clear thing when you say the Liberian dollar is appreciating when the rate is now 200, 205.
Are you saying there is a complete disconnect between what the president said concerning the economy and what is actually on the ground?
Completely, there is a disconnect, and I read the budget, 2025 budget. There's a disconnect between that budget and what the president said. The budget says the Liberian dollar will depreciate. The president said the Liberian dollar has appreciated. The reality on the ground says the U.S. rate is 205 now. Who is talking? Who is deceiving the president?
As a specialist,
in the same budget, in the same annual message, the president says he collected around 700. I think $35 million. He spent $661 million. There is a gap of $72.8 million roundabout. It was not reported as a brought forward within the 2025 budget. How can you collect more money and spend less, but then you don't report the balance? Who is writing? Who is embarrassing our state like this?
As a specialist, again, we have to go. We'll have a longer period. Goodness, that we in conversation now. We'll have a longer period. We need to have these conversations, whether from different sides of the aisle. But as a specialist, when you look at what was said from an economic standpoint and a policy standpoint, and as a development specialist, are you hopeful for Liberia? That if these things are implemented, if the right things are done, that we can see a growth and improvement in our country's economy and development as well, not as a politician, but as an expert, looking at these figures, doing your own analysis and all of that?
Well, first thing, what is difficult to say is that besides the president's speech, the way they structure the national development plan, it's going to be difficult for us to see growth that affects the life of the people. Because the whole national development plan is sinking in towards measuring growth of of the country by GDP growth. And gross domestic product growth does not measure the well-being of the people. So we could have a growth, but the growth doesn't affect the life of the people. So moving forward, unless they reprogram, just they got to reconstruct the direction of the plan. Now look, you know what? We are not just looking at GDP. We're going to be using GDP as a foundation, but we're going to be using the Human Development Index to look at the well-being of our people. Once they do that, then everybody will be focused on the well-being of our people. Other than that, it's going to be a capital formation, capital accumulation economy. You're going to bring in more companies. You heard the president saying they're talking about $3 billion investment in mining.
Yeah.
That money will come, employ few people, and the livelihood, the inequality will get widened. That's what's going to happen. Because the few people that will be employed, they will make high salaries. The poor people salaries. What will happen now is if you want other people to get that salary, they are going to increase those in the formal sector, in the workings of the government. They will increase their salary so that they can meet that target of GDP per capita of 1,030. When you do that, you're going to re-establish the injustices in the payroll system and led to the harmonization. So we're going to recycle being to bring back those days where ministers were making 15,000, that assistant ministers were making $4,000-5,000. If we are not mindful of the strategy they're trying to use, because you cannot use GDP as a measure for the growth of our country in terms of national development indicators. They've also said, and this is the biggest contradiction, they've also said they want to make Liberia a middle-income country. A middle-income country is measured by GNR. Why GNR be the complete measurement, but it's a little bit better for the measurement of the well-being of the people. So here, I'm afraid that this, what I term as dumb barbarous economy, will empower few people and increase inequality. There's nowhere in the president's message he even mentioned about poverty reduction. And so a few people will get rich and the economy will grow in their favor.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, Benedict Koluba, former Assistant Minister for Development Planning.
Thank you. Let me make the last point, right?
Yeah.
Besides the economy, I'd like to close by saying to the Liberian people, all we heard was a reinforcement or restatement of the turnover notes that we gave the Unity Party in 2010.
Isn't government meant to be continuity? Shouldn't government continue from one to the other? Shouldn't there be national plans, as far as from political agendas and the rest?
When you come to power on the matter of change, on the matter of discrediting everything that was done, when you take over, you need to do bigger things. You need to overhaul the entire process. Let the Liberian people see new things.
Quick question to you, Mr. Koluba. When you took over the realms there at the Ministry of Finance in your position, wasn't there anything from your predecessor that you built upon and you worked upon that you met there? Or everything was done afresh by you?
No. When we took over, we introduced new things.
So, Mr. Koluba, my question was there nothing from your predecessor that you built upon?
My point I made to you was that there is a new thing. I didn't say it's wrong to continue.
Okay.
So when we took over, education was going on in this country. But what did we do? We said university will be free. That was bold and new. It doesn't mean the other government were not supporting education. Today, it has become a national policy.
All right, sir.
That's what I mean by new and bold things that will inspire the rescuers to know that yes, this rescue package is not being properly packaged for our advantage. But as it is just a restatement of the CDC turnover note, and the rescuers are losing hope in the rescue mission.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mr. Benedict Koluba there, former Assistant Minister for Development Planning, at the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, giving his take on the President's State of the Nation address with emphasis on the part that dealt with the economy. Well, he said there will be growth, but the growth is not in sectors that will affect largely the lives of Liberians. He spoke about the reserve as to how did we get the figure and what was done and all of that. But this is the pause here on the Spoon Network. And as I said, if you keep playing, you win for yourself 4,000 Liberian dollars. Others are playing, you need to do the same. But I'm going to call one lucky winner that has just won $1,000 for frequently playing. So you see, even when you play and you don't win, the Radio Entertainment Liberia will give you money for frequently playing. So this person, have been playing for a period, and I'm calling this person to tell them that they've won $1,000. They should check their mobile money account and take their ma. So this person is one of our frequent winners who do this regularly, so you can play. Even if you don't win the 4,000, you stand a chance of winning 1,000 Liberian dollars like this frequent player. All right, so the money is in your account. Hello, your name?
Hello?
Yeah, your name, my friend. How are you? Your name?
Ali Mohammed.
You been playing the mobile money game, the radio game, you been playing it?
Yeah, on the loser.
Yeah, you play the mobile money game, the radio game, you play it?
Yeah.
You check your account, Jana, you saw G inside?
No, I check you.
Check it now, $1,000 was sent to you for frequently playing. Like you can play the game plenty. So, say you now win here, we just send you 1,000 for yourself. Check it and confirm. Yeah, I'll call you back.
All right, thank you.
All right. So that is one of our frequent players as well. So even if you don't win, frequent players are awarded. All you need to do is to dial *799 *3 hash, *799 *3 hash, and stand a chance of winning 4,000 Liberian dollars. All you need to do is to dial *799 *3 hash. Play with 70 Liberian dollar, 70 Liberian, that's 70 United States cents, and 100 Liberian dollars. Let's now connect with Liberia's Information Minister, Honorable Jerelimic Matthew Pia, to give his own assessment on the president's message yesterday. Was there a loss sooner based on the fact that the judiciary was absent? Did the president, all right, so we do have Liberia's Information Minister, Honorable Jerelimic Matthew Pia, on the line. Good afternoon to you, Minister Pia.
Damo, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. And how are you, sir?
I think I'm okay. By his special grace, I think I'm okay.
All right. Before we go into all of this, the president of the African Development Bank, Akiwuni Adesina, I watched the video there in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, where he called on others to support Liberia's energy sector. He reaffirmed, passionately his belief in President Boakai and the administration's reforms as well. What does that mean, that endorsement and that plea? What does that mean for not just the Boakai administration, but for Liberia as well, with the gains in the energy sector?
So you see, domestically, Damo, we got our own capacity and we can do all that we are supposed to do. But you see, the relationship with other actors outside of your domestic environment is even more critical and important. But it comes with confidence. If there is not a confidence in the country, the leadership of the country, trying to gather the support of the international system can be very difficult, if not impossible. Adesina has been an admirer of Liberia. I remember when I was press secretary to President Seli, and he took over, he was always there for Liberia. And once we continue to do the right thing, these individuals will always pay attention. And it's not about him as a person. Because don't forget, he's the head of the African Development Bank. The energy summit you're making reference to is being held under the auspices and sponsorship of both the African Development Bank and the World Bank. The project in question, the goal of expanding electricity in Africa, and it's not the whole of the African continent, Adamo. Just 12 countries were selected for this project. 54 countries are in Africa. For Liberia to have been one of the 12 selected countries, and then you having the approbation of the bank calling on donors, calling on others to support the country's energy sector is huge, is big, is a demonstration of a total vote of confidence in the country, first and foremost, and in the leadership of the country as well.
Okay, that was just an intro to our conversation. That's developing news that I came across prior to coming on. We'll play the video as well before we conclude the show today. But our main point of conversation is the president's delivery of his second State of the Nation address. My first question is, a lost SONA with the absence of the justices and all of what we're hearing, or a very, very powerful message delivered by President Boakai from your own assessment, sir?
So I think the question as to who was present and who wasn't present is immaterial. Because here is the fact, Damo. There is a constitutional requirement for what happened yesterday. What is that requirement? As reflected in Article 58, that on the 4th working Monday in January of each year, the president to address the joint section of the National Legislature, not addressing his cabinet, not addressing donor partners, not addressing anybody else, but a joint session of the legislature. The second most requirement is for that joint session to be able to even convene. There must be a quorum. If you don't have a quorum, then the constitutional requirement is not being met. So nobody got to be there, right? If they want to. Once members of the two chambers of the legislature assembled and they have quorum and they call that session, it has met what the Constitution requires. Does it add some flavor that cabinet members are there, diplomats are there, civil society actors are there? It does. Does it change anything with their absence? No. Is there even a precedent to what we're talking about here? Yes. Go and check 2009. The annual message was delivered by my former boss. I was a press secretary, President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. No justice of the court was there. But
is it during the time of the Snow speakership impasse?
Very well, very well. There's a complete article on it that I can send to you. So there is a precedent. And whether somebody was present, somebody was not present, like I said from the beginning, is immaterial, because the most important thing is the legislature was able to assemble in joint session. The president was able to deliver the annual message as required by the Constitution. The Liberian people, wherever they were, they listened. Of course, the president was speaking to their direct representative. All media institutions in this country carried that program live, so the people followed. So to take our attention away from the substance of what took place, on the actual intent of it as defined by the Constitution, and want to drag up toward triviality and immaterialism, is not something we're going to drag into. Absolutely not.
The substance of the SONA, Minister Pia. I have bullet points here on education, roads, agriculture, the economy, for which we're just discussing with the former Assistant Minister for Development Planning, Benedict Koluba, water and sanitation, media infrastructure and press freedom, tourism infrastructure, health and substance abuse, to complete my list. Give us the substance or substances of the president's speech. Today we do not have the luxury of the hour. So I know you're a good communicator. You look and summarize and tell us the substance of the president's SONA. And I ask Minister Pia.
I'll start with mass media, because it's a sector that I control. And I'm interested in that because I remember 6 years ago, Adamo, when we left FAWA, there were individuals who were professional journalists trying to advance themselves in something they considered as career, were denied for 6 years. It was all about Punch can get blessing, Punch can operate, Punch can do this. Meanwhile, new media institutions that were singing the praises of the government were being lessons. Part of what the president reported is that in just 1 year, this 1 year he's been in power, 45 new operational licenses were given to media institutions. a commitment of our desire to expand the media space and to promote press freedom. Interestingly, all 45 licenses were signed by me. Some of the actors who are the brain behind these media entities, we know them. We know what they represent. We know they don't like us, but it is not for us to grant them what should be their right to do on account of their support or dislike for us. So this is a key factor because international players pay attention to that, rather than trying to strangulate the media landscape, rather than trying to suppress freedom of the press. We granting them more participation in a sector that represents democratic rights, democratic freedom, and freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of the press. Everything can be convoluted into that single action. That's great. Infrastructure development. Rose, Diamond. When I was on your show the other day, I told you, we should have just been initiating new projects and running with it. We're doing all the old ones over because they were almost non-existent. The person will be counting what progress we've made, how many kilometers of roads that we have advanced, especially with regard to our project that is ongoing from the Nimba County south going towards the southeast. He was able to even establish what has happened right here near Monrovia Ramos Highway. That road, 122 million was spent on it. But guess what? Only 8 kilometers of that road was done. We took over. We changed the perspective. Leadership became different.
Minister Pia, if I got the math right, a kilometer on average is $1 million.
That was something that I was told when I was press secretary and the rules have been done. That's what they were saying. So, I cannot confirm whether that has been elevated to more than that or is below that, but that was the standard. That was the baseline that for every mile of road you pay was $1 million. We got to get the facts from the guys in the sector. But what I was just saying, was that just 8 kilometers, as was reported by the president, was what was paid. But we took over the last year and decided to rework that road, started meeting our obligation to the funder and all of that. We are at 20 kilometers down, and that couple of kilometers was then being conservative to point to what has actually been paved. But if you went there and saw the earthworks that are going on and the subsequent pavement that are about to be done, we're moving. And then the president talked about what that march, because we have the money, we have the contract, everything is set. That road, that piece of beautiful road from Medina to Rabosport, which has been laying there since the foundation of Liberia. The pavement of that road will begin just on the onset of March. But that continue with infrastructure.
Minister Pia, before you continue, there are others who have said, and again, I always love to say this, that government is about continuity, is about one government to the next. But there are those who say that is a CDC project, is it?
Which one?
The Medina to Robertsport.
How is it?
That's the accusation. That is the accusation. So I'm asking you, as the Minister of Information, you have all of the information to share with us. Please go ahead, sir.
So the work we are about to do, we had to. Mind you, the road is not being sponsored by any donor project. We had to make provision for it in our national budget. So it is something that is just happening as a result of ongoing budget process. I say
but there was work ongoing on that Medina to Robertsport road. I remember I was in Robertsport in some part of 2023 prior to the election, and I even counted the number of covered works that were being done at the time. Is it that project was on hold or it was not moving and all of that?
So covered work is different from when you decide to move and pave a road, actually.
Okay, but there was construction work going on. That's what I wanted to say. So is it different from the pavement that is about to happen, or all of that was done and the pavement is going to happen?
The pavement that is about to happen is an initiative we are undertaking.
Okay.
Yes, there was an intention on their part to do pavement. They didn't do it because the capital was not available. I mean, that's just as simple as it is.
Okay.
So we're doing that. Yeah, so we're doing that. Like I said, all of the projects towards the southeast are ongoing. We are opening a new corridor. Feasibility studies are going on from Bastard to Cestor to Greenville. and so forth along that coastal route. All of that were accounted for by the president. But let's go a little bit beyond. Leave the Rawasi Highway, leave the other ones that are all going.
So we are going to see a coastal highway.
That is what it should be, and that's what our intent is. And that is the reason why we have been able to convince the African Development Bank, the same bank we're talking about, and we are almost guaranteed that funding from BASA to SESTA will be available. What we're doing now, we'll be talking to other partners so that beyond SESTA to the rest of the coastal cities can be actualized. But we can almost be sure that following the feasibility studies, we'll have funding to commence that project from Buchanan to SESTA. But let me what I also wanted to add before you guys the same infrastructure.
Yeah.
We had a $20 million laid down to build an interchange, an overpass that we squandered because of global politics, our approach to it. We were able to revamp that to give a boost to our infrastructure program. And so by February, the process of constructing the overpass will start. ERBC was also a factor. The Chinese have agreed to build a new broadcast complex for them. The mismanagement of our foreign relation with them again took that process away. I was at ERBC today because I appear on the show there. The building project is at the second floor. It's about 5.5 million. The one over the overpass is about 20 million. Then there is the reference laboratory that will be attached to the 14 military hospitals. That was at a cost of 16 million. Its construction is also about to start with programs for aid. The money is available. So infrastructurally, you see everything that we're doing, which the president was able to account for. In 1 year, not in 2 years, not in 3 years, in one single year, Diamond, that's infrastructure. Education, we are almost remaking the system.
When you say we are almost remaking a system, Ma Lopu in my area is listening and she's concerned when the Minister of Information says we are remaking the system. Are you starting everything anew, Minister Pia? And the president spoke about education, and we want you to speak to this as well. When you say anew, what do you mean?
So we're not starting anew because we've been running an educational system, but we are wanting in the quality and everything that has to do with that system. Mm-hmm. What are you looking at? Teachers? What are you looking at? The infrastructure itself, school buildings? What are you looking at? The materials that are required in the school to make the school to be wholesome and functional? Everything is a challenge. You realize that as a government, the Ministry of Education was able to conduct what they call a school census. That school census, when the daily was to give them an appraisal of what the realities are. Do we have the right kind of teachers? Are they suitably qualified for what they're doing? Are people who are in administrative position the right people? What kind of school buildings are they in? Are they leaking? How many of the teachers, in fact, are even on payroll? That whole school census was to give a clear picture of the entire system as to what is happening. That informed our decision. A lot of interventions have been made in restoring schools that are dilapidated in structure. The one student, one chair program that is targeting primary school students to ensure that they all have comfortable seats to sit on. The solarization of schools, since electricity is not properly expanded so that schools can have access to electricity using solar, or taking some of the volunteer teachers who've been in the system and not throwing them in the street because they've been teaching, they have experience, they didn't have the qualification. So sending them back to teacher training schools to be able to qualify themselves better and come right back to the class. Because of the situation we have in the country, you want to motivate kids to be able to go to school. You talked about money that have been spent to ensure that you have a school feeding program where kids will go to school, they will be able to eat. We talk about what we've done in terms of providing scholarship to local students, local scholarship for students to be able to go to school. We're talking about how we're able to tackle and settle the huge indebtedness that the country had to WIAC. Man, you just yesterday, WIAC was supposed to be the responsibility of the government, that it was said that the school fees were being, the WIAC fees were being paid. Nothing was paid. We inherited a huge debt that were not owed, and WIAC was on record for saying that. We paid those debts, trying to make the system all work again. So if I say remaking, the system has been there, but it's so much wanting and so much so it needed to be done, which we are tackling head-on as was articulated by the president.
Let's go to agriculture, Minister Pia. The A in the arrest stands for agriculture, if I'm not wrong. And the president made some points about agriculture, which many Liberians are key to see how President Boakai is going to perform in this particular sector, because it does not only feed us, it doesn't only make us self-sufficient to a larger extent, but this is a field that he, has got a qualification in and is passionate about. So please speak to us about the agricultural intervention and what should Liberians expect as well in this ensuing year.
The first thing the president did, Damo, to show his commitment to agriculture, since that's an area in which he has a lot of expertise. Don't forget you were agriculture minister before, is to first raise the agriculture budget from the government angle over 200%. Now, that's huge. It means if the agriculture budget, say, was 7 million, it means that what they did, just an example, I'm not saying that why it is, to have a 200% increment, it means it goes to 21 million. Just that commitment to not just double, but triple what government commitment is to the sector is a clear demonstration of interest in the area, because this place holds the key to economic buoyancy and development. Agriculture will not just create jobs, because it's one sector that can give jobs to thousands and thousands and thousands of people. It leads us to self-sufficiency, to be able to feed ourselves. It does just that. It ensures food security, and it will give voice and strength and everything to our economy. Look, we spend millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars annually just on the importation of the food we eat. The soil we have here is even better than some of the places we're getting these food from. So the partners agree with us, and the government itself agree that more investment in that area can help us to get to food self-sufficiency. That's why in his narration, as he gave the message, he was able to catalog the hectares of farmland that are being cultivated for rice, for cassava, for maize, for tree crops. He was able to practical intervention in cultivation of these crops has been done, and all were recounted by the president in the message.
The president mentioned a scientific data study that was done, sponsored by the Chinese, that has got to do with our resources. He went on to list resources and the rest as well. Minister Pia, Liberians have heard a lot, but the question is, we Liberia got this popular saying that dry or sweet, but what we'll be eating, until the dog get dry. When are we going to see the fruits, the outputs of these good things that you've listed? Someone earlier said, Emmanuel Gonkwe said it was a sonar of hope, for the future to come. But what are the temporary, reliefs and the rest that Liberians are to experience before we start to see the fruits of these things that have been said, the roads and the rest, Minister Pia?
Damo, we've seen it. For example, I always make this example, I live Brave. Serious interventions are being done, and before the next rainy season, when I'm driving to Broadway, my car owner carrier will not be eaten up and destroyed as it has been. I'm going to be able to move on the road that is paved and take me to where I'm going quietly and peacefully. Not just that, I'm just giving that example because I am there. You pass near the Matari Estate, where all the roads to Matari Fiana, all the roads are almost non-existent. They're all being rebuilt. The people who own cars in those areas will be able to drive, ensuring that their owner carriers are good. And the community people themselves, who just can't stand the fact that roads are non-existent. These are the now things we're talking about. When we're going to the filling station and buying gasoline for over 1,000, and we can pay 700 now, 750 or 650 or whatever it is, that's the now we're talking about, right? If we are now having an expansion of the legislature to the extent that our city that used to be dark, you have all these sophisticated solar lights that are all over the town, that when you're moving around, you just see the brightness of the town. Some kids who may not have the electricity in their home can sit on there and start to study their lesson. That's the now we're talking about. In Central Monrovia, they have not been able to see well-born water for decades and decades and decades since we entered the war. Can now see Bon water through the government action and the hard work of Mo Ali and his team. That's it now we're talking about. If the Rubber Fee Highway that took 6 years to be able to make it, and in 6 years you took only 8 kilometers, and now work is progressing, it's at 20 kilometers, it will go more. That's it now you're talking about.
Okay.
If you now have a 20 megawatt solar plant being built, which will aid the energy production process of our country, is it now you're talking about? And I could go on Nini and as to what you see in the now.
All right, Minister Pierre, just a minute to wrap up.
I'm coming.
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
I'm coming. If you're now beginning to see the construction of a new overhead bridge, if you're now seeing a new LBS broadcast complex, if you're now seeing all of the other good things that are happening in the agricultural sector with all the cultivation of all these massive lands, local rest is now on the market. I buy some time from local farmers. You went to the agriculture fair. Food are wasting all over the place. It's the now. We pay attention to what we're doing now. We continue to elevate the things we're doing now. But Gongwa is right. It will be more hopeful moving towards the future, because by the time you expand on and complete the 6 years mandate that has been given to this president, you can be assured that you will just go back and say it wasn't easy, but it was worth it.
Thank you so much, Minister Pierre. Always worth talking to you. Liberia's Information Minister, Honorable Jeremy Matthew Pierre. So if you were to coin the SONA in one caption, not the one that they said rescue to development, but is it of hope for SONA, a SONA of intent? You know, this year, 2025, we'll see a lot of works being done. How would you coin the SONA message delivered by President Boakai?
It's a SONA of a progressive Liberia.
Okay.
It's a SONA that also is taking us back to our place with global prominence. Don't forget, he said it, people listen, we will be a non-permanent member of the UN Security Council, a major step that take us back, but that will take us back to those years the locals have eaten, the years of global prominence. So it gives hope, and it recounts progress domestically, and it's moving onto a higher pedestal internationally.
Thank you, Minister Pierre.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Minister Jeremy Matthew Pierre is Liberia's Information Minister, speaking to us, giving but the government's perspective on what this SONA was as to the attendance of the judiciary. He said, well, you know, it is a tradition that they do attend, but the constitutional requirement is that the president addresses the legislature. All right, keep playing the radio game, *799 *3# and win 4,000 Liberian dollars. We have Prophet Key in the background, and once he's ready, he's going to give us the thumbs up, and we'll bring him on the show to tell us what's unfolding there. So we now bring Newzo Prophet Key on. Prophet Key, good afternoon to you.
Yeah, good afternoon, Diamond. Thanks for having me. How are you?
I'm also good. The pleasure is on mine to have you on the show. Prophet Key, you were in Nimba for the funeral service of the late Senator Prince Wang Johnson. We saw a viral picture of you and former President Weah. Have you guys mended your relationship? And if so, how good friends are you?
Yeah, for me, like I always say, first thing first, Yahweh Zoma, Abi Yahweh Zo. It feels good to be here, okay? First thing first, like I always used to say, and I always say that me and George Weah never had nothing personal between us. We were not enemy, okay? I was only speaking like the way I was speaking for the betterment of my country. It's not because I had hate for George Weah. No. And we're proving that when me and George Weah met, from the both parties, there was no hate. You could see that everything was amicable. You could see the smile. You could see that like we've been a friend for a while. Okay, so I don't think me and George Weah have any hatred between us, or we have any differences that we needed to settle. No, I don't think so.
Okay, so it was all genuine smiles, Prophet Key.
Yeah, it was genuine. Yeah.
All right. Now, let's talk about the former cultural ambassador as well. You know, funeral services, weddings, and these occasions are used as opportunities to rekindle, and see people that we've not seen for a long period of time and bury hatchets. You cool now with the former cultural ambassador, Judy Nyendi?
Yeah, we met, we cool. I think for Judy Nyendi, we cool, and we met for the second time, and she gave me one finger slap.
You remind me of James Gooden flow when they gave you one slap. So what was the one finger slap for?
One finger slap. You haven't seen that before? Like this, like this.
Okay.
It was for the second time. Okay. When we met, she gave me one finger slap.
All right. So
but I think everything is cool between she and myself. We went to bury our hero, and there was no need for us to keep hate in our heart for one another, because Nimba County needed a unity. We needed to come together because our hero is gone. We are all left all by ourselves. So the children of Nimba need to come together and put aside our differences for the betterment of our county.
You mentioned the word hero, and your hero is gone, and there is a need for a new hero to rise from the ashes like the phoenix rising. Are you interested, Prophet Key? I like direct questions. In contesting the senatorial position in Nimba County?
But I've said it over and over. Even during the funeral, I said it. I'm the direct replicant of Prince Johnson. I'm the man that Prince Johnson handed his church over to and gave me a chance to preach in the church. I'm the man that will replace Prince Johnson. I'm the direct replicant of Prince Johnson. I'm the only man that can take what I county and unite that county and hold that county together. Because when Nimba is not, Nimba is fragile. If we give Nimba to someone who does not know how to put together, Nimba will divide. So as for me, I'm the man in waiting, and I'm the incoming senator to replace our hero. I have said it over and over, so that is not a question.
Representative Samuel Kogai, jumping over the remains of Senator Johnson, the traditional rights, being handed the power of the Johnson clan and all of those things. And we saw Representative Kogai kneeling and Senator Johnson touching you. When you're talking about going preach one time to church, how close were you with Senator Johnson that you now are his direct replica, Prophet Key?
The video are there. People that goes to Prince Johnson Church, Prince Johnson and pray over them, put hand on their head to pray with them. When somebody put their hand on your head to pray with you, what it means? It means that you are possessed and try to deliver you. Kogai went there, Prince Johnson
bless you.
Yeah, the blessing, so the deliverance about the blessing and country deliverance. Maybe you never have blessing, now they give you blessing. So it's another form of deliverance. So most of the guys that went to Prince Johnson Church, Prince Johnson prayed with them, they were sinners. He put him on there and prayed, but I want to Prince Johnson Church. He never prayed for me. He gave me the pulpit. He gave me the pulpit, even saying the video that y'all will lead. You people will lead the country. So the men have said it already. So Kogai jumping over there, but for me, it's a broad day which that Kogai is doing. First thing first, the relationship between Kogai and Prince Johnson like a son and father. It means Kogai is a father to Prince Johnson because Prince Johnson, man, and Kogai father, they are relatives. So automatically, traditionally, Kogai become a bigger son to Prince Johnson. So you cannot be jumping over your son's body. Instead, your son should jump over your body if you want to have that in the perspective of tradition. But those traditions are kept behind doors. Now, how you calling for everybody because you want to score a political point? Prince Johnson never be
the representative was doing a political jumping. He was doing
that political jumping was jumping. Okay, but Prince Johnson never became a senator by jumping over their body. No. The people elected Prince Johnson. The male that political jumping, that male jumping, I brought the wish they were playing there. Now when you see after the day that stop, see how Nimba walk out of the country meet. Nimba have a good team. Me tell you.
Because of Samuel Kogai, Nimba walk out of the country meet.
Yeah, because the negative energy, because of biology man. So they're going the day by man.
It's too early. The by-election has not been announced yet, but you seem to be coming out with all punches in this campaign mode. What will make you a better senator of Nimba County? And the shoes that you have to fill, that of Senator Johnson, what makes you think you are the best suited person, apart from saying you are a unifier?
First thing first, all the men that you see that will be running against me, They all already work in the government. For example, Samuel Koga from District 5, nothing he have done for his people. We can show him back that Samuel Koga has done. Nothing else. Look at Samuel Koga and then proceeding now. He chairman for the majority bloc. I led the minority bloc, burning down the Capitol building. See the kind of commotions that the horse is in because of Samuel Koga being a chairman. So you can retrospect Samuel Koga's leadership when he become a senator. See what he's doing in the house. And you get that kind of mentions to lead a big Nima. He will divide Nima. But for me, I'm a unifier, number one. I'm very social. I reach out to everybody, respect everybody. Everybody is a key friend to everybody. And secondly, when I come on board, I will industrialize Nima County. Nima County will be industrialized.
Nima County, Prophet Key. Tell us.
Hello?
Yeah, you're still live.
Yeah, what you said there, I didn't get your platform.
I said, how will you industrialize Nimba County?
Yeah, boy, that's an easy question. We industrialize Nimba County by how you call it, bringing in investors. Okay? Inviting investors into the county to be able to invest in the county, to build factories in the county. And I will make them to understand that when you build factories in Nima, you will benefit and you have the international market next door. Local Guinea and Nima Bola. Local Africa and Nima Bola. So when you industrialize Nima County by bringing in investors, giving them the ground for them to invest, for them to build factory, and themselves too, they will benefit because they will have an international market at their doorstep in Guinea. So anything they manufacture in Liberia will not be the only one buying it. Guinea will be buying it, and Africa will be buying it. So that's a lawmaker. You need to lobby it. You need to reach that lobby with business people, lobby with investors, and make them to understand the potential of Nima and where Nima is situation and how they themselves will benefit when they come to invest in Nima. So industrialize Nima.
Doing consultations, Prophet Key. Have you started your consultations? And if so, what is your support base like in Nimba County? You know, that you can rely on and safely say if you go into the race, that headache for anybody going in a race.
District 9 and District 6. I'm from Lower Nima. Okay, I'm from Lower Nima, and I'm well rooted in Lower Nima. My family, I knew my father, Moses 80 years there, used to be the Bob and Quilla head during the 80s. My mother, Peter Somi from the Bob and Quilla era. So my family is well rooted in Nimba County. Towaita, Moses Blala, my uncle, and the people of Lower Nima have been left out of the whole and legislative stuff. Imagine our hero body never entered Lower Nima because those that were heading the body, they never showed respect to the people of Lower Nima. Time were waiting to see Prince Johnson body. They too were waiting to see Prince Johnson body. And Hachimakole and Zuole were waiting to see Prince Johnson body. And all the area get good roads. Now all the Jonathan government, the people have faced the road from second period, all the quota, all the way to Zuole. And from Zuole to Tapata, that about 15 million the road is good. But the people never brought the body for our people in the Lower Nima belt to see their hero. So they left our people out. So when you gave the people from Upper Nima, you gave them the senatorial position, our people from Lower Nima will be marginalized. So I'm well to do in the Lower Nima belt because it's where I came from.
Are you going to be running on the ticket of any political party? Are political parties running after you now, chasing you to be their candidate, or you will be an independent candidate? And if so, if an independent candidate, Prophet Key, what would be your symbol? The key?
I will be running as independent candidate, and my symbol is justice. The symbol of justice have been my symbol. Okay, justice and judgment. Liberia above all else. I've been pushing that long time. So my symbol would not be the key because the key is for me, for individually for me. That's my symbol. But the symbol I would choose will be the symbol for everyone for justice. The justice symbol will be my symbol, and I will go independent.
Okay, you go independent. But the first part of my question was political parties chasing after you to be their candidate right now. Are they having consultations with you? And if so, who are the stakeholders in Nimba that are reaching out to you to drop out of the race now?
No, even political party have not come to me officially. But people within political party are reaching out to me. Even people from the MDR, from the Prince Johnson party, they told me, say, Prophet Key, don't call our name, but you need to enter in the race. You need to test the water, you need to enter in the race. And when time reaches, we'll give you all the different talking points, because the Samuel Koga man who want to take Prince Johnson position, this man never spoke Prince Johnson for 18 years. That man came and told people that Prince Johnson came or a relative. Okay, Prince Johnson is a murderer and Prince Johnson is a dictator. And they got a tip on him. They met me in my hotel and they said, Frankie, please do not retreat. Please run. And as time goes by, we will give you all the talking points about this so-called man who wants to be a senator, who already have a job and he wants to lead a job for another job. So there are been consultation, people meeting me behind the scene.
Prophet Key, you mentioned earlier that there are those who are already in government and you cannot see any works they've done in their respective areas. What's your impact in NIMBA so far? What have you done that you can point to say, look, this is what I'm doing, and if you make me senator, I can improve upon this and I can make sure that NIMBA is industrialized?
The people in NIMA know, especially in the lower NIMA belt, I generated money on the world stage to pay teachers who government didn't pay for almost 10 months to a year. I generated money on my show to pay them. I put children on my scholarship. When holiday comes, the July 26th, I go have program with the children from different towns, share books on them, share clothes on them. Okay, and I've been engaged with the people in NIMBA. Went to some town, let's call it, where the people there, their town hall were broken down. I have to put in money to renovate the town hall. Like I always say, when I give you money as an individual, it's only for you. But when I invest money in the public area, it's for everyone. So my job in NIMA is to help NIMA when it comes to the public sector. Like I told you that I renovated, how you call it, their town hall. I put children in schools, share books on them, and myself too are doing some farming in the NIMA area. So I've been engaged with my people. But other people that even came, they never did any of that. Show me any of them who were paying teachers when teachers never had salary before coming to the job. I have not even come to the job. I've been doing it before, helping teachers, paying teachers and salary.
There are those. When I posted the flyer of your appearance on the show, it should have been 1 hour, and we'll look forward to having you more as we go into the political process. But my last question to you is: there are those who have accused you of going into this just for the Prophet Key. They say you're doing it just for the Moko fee, so that when you put your name in the race, you throw your hat in the race, people will reach out to you and buy you out of the process. Are we going to see you in this process, for the process, and to win? Or probably somewhere along the line you drop off for reasons best known to you, Prophet Key?
First thing for criminal, always get criminal mindset. Those who thinking that way, you check them good, they are criminals. I'm not coming in the race because I want to put a true money on me. I was advocating 6 years. People brought me 200,000 for me to switch to support them, and I didn't do it. It's not the time where I know that NIMA is vulnerable and I can defend NIMA. Then I will go in the race just to take money from people. Sometimes people can just think otherwise about me, and that's my strength. The more you think negative about me, you see the more positive side about me. They have been thinking negative about me all down the line, and now they are saying that Prophet Key is a more positive man. Don't mind them. Those who thinking that way, they are criminals, and they are used to doing no criminal act. But I, Prophet Key, when I'm running, I'm not going to retreat. I need to defend my country. This country is vulnerable. Look at Nimajan lost the country me. Everybody are bashing at Nima. Huh?
Are you now the new godfather and savior of Nimba County? Is that how you see yourself?
First thing first, let me tell you something. I'm not a godfather yet. Okay?
You're planning to be the godfather.
Yeah, I will be the godfather, but I'm not a godfather yet. I will not take the title when I'm not, how you call it, the mantle of authority. When I mount the mantle of authority, then that Godfather title will come. It will not just come like that. It will come by my proceeding. It will come by my doing. It will come by the way I engage the people of Nima, the way I advocate for them, the kind of a law I push for them, the way I will interact with Asuna Meta to make them to revisit the social contract between the people of Nima. Those are the things that will make the people of Nima say, yeah, this man's a Godfather. I'm not going to be claiming up, jumping up for title. The title have to come by your working. People who want to get Godfather title to take that effect, you have to work for it. You can't just marry it just like that. You have to work to obtain the Godfather title. So I will work for it and I will obtain that Godfather title by my working for the people.
We will reschedule a longer interview, but I know I said it was my last question. Do you have the support of the women in Nimba County?
Yes, I do.
How many of the women in your leadership position? I know you got your organization already, your cheerleader, your this and that. Just give her just a number of women that are behind your support system right now.
First thing first, just recently, the Vanguard Youth of Nimba, they met me about 1 week ago. They met me and they came to endorse me as the incoming senator. And there were many women among them. You see the issue about Prophet Key insulting women? No, Prophet Key insulting criminal mothers and criminal wives. I'm not passing around insulting women. When you generalize it, I'll be insulting my own mother. It may be insulting my own wife. I'm married to a African woman. If an African woman can follow me to go to Liberia in a country that African people are further, because they believe that Liberian people are warlord, follow me to power me all the way, but know that I'm a husband material and I'm an easy-going man who is a family oriented. So all the things we're talking about women don't mind it. People that benefit from the stealing in Liberia, the women who benefit from the stealing, who want Liberia to remain the same way, they are the ones that put you up and keep causing women. Every woman has a need. When somebody talk to Martha, that person is not talking to Mary. That Mary know that her name is not involved.
When and if you shall become senator of Nimba County, would you drop all of what you do, and focus on governance, or you still maintain what made you renowned, Prophet Key?
Like what? You have to break it down.
Prophet Key, you understand the question?
If I understand the question, I will not ask you to break it down.
Will you still be on your war stage doing the thing you can?
But you're saying, no, I don't be on the war stage when I get job to do. I have to represent the people. You see, I get called back. Instead of beauty, you get called back now the market door.
Perfect. So, let me say example on the show.
Yeah, Damo, I like you get called back. Damo, me tell you, how you think Joshua met me and Joshua shake my hand and nothing happened? The guy said, Antoine said, when you not see Prophet Key in person, you not see that different man. When you see Prophet Key in person, that different human being altogether. The environment, when you see the environment, you know that man's a man of law, that man's a good man. Let me tell you, everything that protocol. You expect me to be a senator and be on war stage and be advocating for different people? No. Different person will control the war stage. Now I have to control and defend the people of Nima and do their job. It will be very easy for me because I've been advocating for the whole Liberia. But now I'm going to be advocating for a county. The job will be very easy for me. The stress will go down. Because when I'm on the war stage, I'm talking for everybody. I'm talking with somebody from Cape Mount, talking for everybody. But now I'm going to be talking for my county.
Why did you set an example on Representative Koluba? What was your example intended for? Are you saying that he's less busy, he doesn't have work to do, or he doesn't know his job?
Yakia Koluba doesn't even know his job. Now Joseph Baga saying the sooner Hachumakore address that they have brought back the county development fund. And Yakia going to the senator then in the county, the caucus to fund it for them. What are the funds that he's supposed to receive to help the district? They get a passing around with gossip. The men who they remove, and you call them fanatic offer not going in at your insertion to go make noise, but you can't go in there to go make noise. We have to use the Ofoi Boying pattern of leadership. When Hachimoto was secretary, they were making noise around here in Africa. Ofoi Boying were working with the French people to build his country. Look at Africa today. That from when Ofoi Boying left the country, that where Asa Ouattara there, they built the country from. You have to work for a relationship with the executive to be able to work with them so you can be able to help your people, because the executive is the one that get the money. But if you're the executive at local head, you're fighting one another. Tell me what happened to your constituents. You guys should not be your lawmaker because you cannot even know the needs of the people. What is all be doing for the people? You're gonna just forcing, fighting all day. I'm not going to be that kind of lawmaker. No. I'm going to be a lawmaker who will persuade the executive to invest and do more for my county. And I will give them the reason why they can do more, because then it's all benefit. They're talking about electricity. Why they can't talk about a high quality water and sewer in Nima County? Is water and sewer in Nima County? Water and sewer is not in Nima County. So what should we do to get water and sewer in Nima County? We need to build Hachimokode water tower to store water so we can be able to distribute water supply in the county. And it will help water and sewer to generate more money. They'll be talking about how to build water tower in Nima County to supply safe drinking water, pump water in of our area. Those are things we'll be discussing with the executive. You don't be passing around, be discussing gossip. You relative, you know me, you don't know me. People who know me closely know who I am. You see me from a different perspective. Well, everything is a terrain management. I cannot be in the terrain of legislature terrain. Then I'll be forcing with people, be fighting with executive. I have to persuade executive and make them and give them the advantage and the disadvantage so they can work in my county. Now I'll be passing around in people and going gossip. They probably remove fanatic over. What are you hating me for? That you make that your district fanatic over and speaker, or the house and one and some fanatic over speaker. That thing should be going long time. That focus on your constituent, focus on your district, how to see to it for your put a district to benefit. But you're not doing it, people grabbing and beating you, not doing that. And the way they not start beating you, everybody start beating you.
Prophet Key, thank you. But your materials campaign, the election will soon be announced by the NEC, the memo. We did see the internal memo already and all of those things. How prepared are you now to engage in this particular process? You know, are you going to run the flamboyant campaign with all of your materials, or you are going to run the Jehovah Witness style campaign and, you know, come in underfunded? You're going against the big boys, according to you. Many of them have already got jobs. How prepared are you?
I'm prepared because the people get my back. The people in Nima really want me. You never saw one in Nima. I stole the show during how you call it the funeral. I stole the show. Everywhere I went, it was locked down. Everybody want to see me. Everyone interact me. Nima want me. Everybody showing me that they're voting. I did Reki, we're voting for you. We voting. The people want me. Nima is not accounted really about money. Nima is accounted about ideas. The idea you got, what you can do for your people. Okay? Most of the people today, we celebrating Prince Johnson. We celebrating Prince Johnson because Prince Johnson laid down his life for the poor Nima. Not because of Prince Johnson had money. He laid down his life for the poor Nima. So if you can lay down your life for the poor Nima, if you can be able to defend them in any other way, as your people, as your constituents, as your kinsmen, as your people, the poor Nima will support you. The poor Nima know that I'm good at that. So forget about the finance, it will come by itself. I got many stakeholders only waiting for the NEC to announce the opening of the by-election for my support to start coming in.
And you say you are the savior of Nimba.
Yes, indeed.
I want you to please reaffirm that.
Let me tell you something. First thing I need to understand, the title that you throw it on me, I tell you, it's not just merit. You have to work for it. Okay? You have to work for it. When I become a senator, according to my doing, my work, then all the title will come upon me. But I'm not going to sit down and just be claiming title without doing the people job.
Okay, Prophet Key. Thank you so much. Look forward to future interactions with you. But before you will go, anything you want to say to the people of Liberia, the people of Nimbat in a minute, please, so that they can listen to you.
My fellow Nimbat, everything get time. And this is my time to lead the people of Nima to a better Nima that our children and everyone will benefit. When I become your senator, let me tell you, your county will change dramatically for the better. Like I said, I will industrialize Nima County. Okay, I will industrialize Nima County. I will revisit the social contract between Asana Meta and the people of Nima. Our water are polluted, our air are polluted, and our people in the concession area are not benefiting nothing. So we have to revisit. We have to revisit the concession agreement. And when I become your senator, I will prioritize early childhood education. From ABC to 6th grade, your children will not pay school fee from ABC to 6th grade because that's the foundation. Before you pay us, you have to pay the foundation. I will prioritize early childhood education. I'm your leader, and I will see to it, I will defend that county. Nobody will exploit that county. And while representing you, every decision that will be taken in the House of Legislators, I will come to you and have your approval before I put my signature to any bill that will pass in the House. You will be involved. You will be involved with the legislative happening. You will not be left behind. Because the fact of the matter, when you elect me, I become your employee, you become the employer. Like I always say, there are 4 branches of government. The first branch of government is the people. The people are the first branch of government. So you are the first branch of government, next to it, the executive, the third, the legislature, the fourth, the judiciary. So you are the first branch of government. I will give you all the respect. You and I will work together to see a better Nima that other county will learn from us. We have to develop Nima and make it a Casablanca. Thank you very much for having me on the show. And thanks to the people of Nima for everything we did for our hero and for coming together to show to all people that we are united and Nima remain great and will continue to be great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prophet Key. We look forward to a longer interaction with you. We will extend an invitation to you for another time that we can, have a very long conversation. You delve into your plans for Nimba County once you shall be elected senator of that county. But thank you, sir. Appreciate you, and have for yourself a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Prophet Key there, bringing this program to an end for today. You listen to all of those we featured on the show. We had to ask for a bit of extension, but this is all the time we have, and we have to leave you. My name is Diamond Slanger, the presenter and host of The Pulse here on the Spoon Network. For those of you who listen all across the country, kudos to you, and have for yourselves a wonderful day. For those of you who've been following us all around the world, thank you, and have for yourselves a wonderful day as well. Tomorrow, the county meet. I'm going against Shannon Goe, and Shannon is right here in the studio as well. It's on All Southeastern Affair, Maryland against Grand Jita County. However it is, we will spar and there will be a winner. It will not be a very, intense battle because we're all from the same area, but we'll just spar with each other. And at the end of the day, Grand Jita will become victorious. Have yourselves a wonderful day. And bye-bye. Shannon is going to disagree, but I don't care what he says. Yeah.